The screen fades from black. A soft piano note plays. A blurred city skyline appears, glowing in the night. The voice of a narrator rises, calm and filled with nostalgia. It's been more than 30 years since we first met them. A woman with a smile that could light up the darkest street. And a man who thought love was just another business deal. Together they prove that sometimes fairy tales can happen. Even in the real world, the music swells, then softens. Silhouettes appear to figures not fully seen, just shapes in the light. A limo door closes. A woman's laughter echoes faintly. The hook ends on a pause, with the narrator's voice low and steady. Asterisk, the trailer begins with sweeping shots of a modern city. Neon lights. Tall glass buildings. The world looks faster, colder, sharper than the Beverly Hills of the past. A black car glides across the streets at night, headlights cutting through the mist. The music is slow, dramatic piano mixed with soft strings. The narrator speaks again. Edward Lewis built an empire. Deals, hotels, boardrooms. His world has always been about power. But even empires grow lonely. Time passes, and choices made long ago never truly disappear. The screen shows Edward's silhouette, standing in a towering office, gazing down at the city below. His reflection in the glass looks older, tired, weighed down by decisions. No face is shown, only his figure, hands tucked in his pockets. The glow of the skyline wrapping around him. Cut. A new scene. A glamorous event. Flashing lights and cameras. A woman walks through the crowd. Elegant, graceful, but with a spark of energy in her movement. It's Vivian. She's older, stronger. No longer the woman searching for a place in the world. She's carved one for herself. The camera never shows her face, just her hands waving. Her hair moving under the light, her silhouette in a stunning red dress that echoes her past but now feels like armor. Vivian. Ward became more than anyone expected. From a chance meeting on a street corner to a woman who inspires others, she has risen, not by luck, but by courage. Yet even in her success, some memories never fade. The music slows to a heartbeat rhythm. A shot of a hotel lobby. The camera follows polished shoes stepping onto marble floors. Another cut heels clicking down a hallway. The two sets of steps echo against each other, almost in rhythm, till silence falls. The narrator lowers his voice. 2 lives. 2 worlds. Pulled apart by time, yet tied together by a love that refuses to die. The sound of rain begins. The screen shows a quiet street, wet pavement glowing under city lights. Edward's silhouette holding an umbrella. Across the street, Vivian's shadow reflected in a window. For a moment they seem close. The sound of a limo door opening cuts the silence, and the screen fades to black. Sometimes, the past doesn't stay behind us. Sometimes it waits for one more chance. The music swells again. The last image of this section, the opera curtains rising in slow motion, light spilling through as if opening the door to their unfinished story. Asterisk, the screen opens to silence. Then, a burst of sound camera flashes. The crowd of paparazzi push forward as a luxury car pulls up outside a gala. Voices shout questions. Lights blind the night, and the air feels heavy with chaos. Through the flashes, the shape of a woman steps out. Her dress shimmers under the lights, but her posture is steady, calm. It's Vivian. She doesn't hide from the world anymore. She walks with purpose, her silhouette glowing in the storm of attention, fame, power, admiration. Vivian has all of it now. But even in the spotlight, she carries a silence only one man can understand. The scene shifts. A quiet office, far above the city. Edward sits at a long table. Papers, contracts. Lawyers and board members shuffle around him, their voices sharp and cold. But Edward doesn't speak. He's distant, staring at nothing, his hand resting on a pen that never moves. He's a man who has everything, yet nothing that matters. The music drops to a low hum, like a heartbeat echoing in an empty room. Edward fought for the world. He conquered it. But the more he gained, the further he drifted from the only person who ever made him feel alive. Cut to a rainy street. Edward walks alone, the umbrella shielding him, his pace heavy. Across the screen, we see a parallel shot of Vivian alone as well, walking into her penthouse, closing the door behind her. Both movements mirror each other, lives running side by side but never meeting. The narrator whispers, "Time creates distance. Distance creates doubt, and doubt can break even the strongest love." Suddenly, the music swells. A quick montage flashes across the screen. Edward dropping his phone, staring at an old photo. Vivian, looking at a bouquet of roses left at her door, the card unsigned. A boardroom argument, Edward walking away while others shout his name. Vivian holding the hand of a young woman she's mentoring, showing strength but hiding sadness in her eyes. The pace quickens. Each image comes faster, sharper, with a pulse of drums underneath. Then silence. The screen cuts to black. Only one line is heard: what happens when two hearts are pulled back together? But the world around them refuses to let it happen? The visuals return. A limo speeding down the city highway. A plane taking off. A hotel ballroom door swinging open. And finally a shot of Edward and Vivian standing on opposite sides of a glass wall. Their hands reach up at the same moment, touching the glass from either side. They can see each other. They can almost feel each other. But the wall remains. The narrator's voice rises with emotion. Love is not just about finding each other. It's about fighting for each other. And this time, the fight will test everything they've become. The music climbs higher, strings swelling, the piano returning. The trailer slows, showing Edward standing at the edge of a rooftop, the city glowing beneath him. He closes his eyes, as if making a choice. Vivian is shown backstage at an opera house, breathing deeply before stepping out into the light. The final shot of this section, the opera curtains parting. But instead of the stage, the screen cuts to Edward walking through a hotel lobby, heading toward something unseen. The voiceover ends the section with a deep, powerful line: "When the past calls, you can ignore it. Or you can answer and change the story forever." Asterisk, the screen fades in with silence. Then a single note of a violin stretches out, soft and fragile. A woman's laughter echoes faintly, but it's not current. It's a memory, like a ghost carried on the wind. The laughter fades, replaced by the sound of rain sliding down glass. The shot, Vivian stands by a tall window, her silhouette blurred by raindrops. She looks out at the city below, her reflection in the glass almost more real than she is. She touches the window lightly, as though reaching for something just beyond her reach. The narrator whispers, "Memories can feel closer than people. And sometimes what we miss most isn't the past, but the way it made us feel." The music builds slowly, the violin joined by a soft piano. Cut to Edward. He sits in a theater, the opera house glowing with golden light. The seats around him are empty. On stage, the curtain rises, but there is no performance, no audience, just silence. Edward leans forward, his face never seen, only his hands clutching the armrest tightly, as if trying to hold on to something slipping away. For Edward, silence has become a companion. But silence cannot replace love. The screen flickers to brighter tones. A young woman appears, Vivian's protege. She is nervous, holding fashion sketches in her hands. Vivian stands beside her, encouraging her with a smile. Her voice is warm, supportive, but her eyes tell another story, a quiet sadness, longing that has never gone away. Vivian found her place in the world, and now she helps others find theirs. Yet even in the joy of giving, a part of her waits. For the one who taught her what it means to be seen, the music shifts. A stronger rhythm begins steady, like footsteps approaching. The screen cuts quickly, Edward walking through a crowd, searching. Vivian stepping into a hotel lobby, her red dress glowing under chandeliers. Their paths crossing in the same building, though they don't see each other yet. The tension rises. Their lives are so close, almost touching. Then silence again. A slow-motion shot. Vivian walks into a ballroom. Her hand brushes across the surface of a grand piano as she passes. At the same moment, Edward pushes open a door across the hall. Their movements are mirrored, their presence heavy, as if the universe is drawing them closer again. The narrator speaks with quiet power. Love never disappears. It waits. It lingers in every corner, every shadow, every heartbeat. And when it returns, it does not knock. It bursts through, demanding to be felt once more. The music swells, building to a tender crescendo. The next montage is delicate, emotionally filled with glimpses, Vivian laughing softly, her hand covering her mouth, the same way she once did years ago. Edward reaching out to touch a photograph, his fingers trembling. Their hands brushing against each other in a crowded hallway. A moment so brief, but enough to awaken everything. Vivian's eyes welling up with tears as she hears Edward's voice across the room for the first time in years. The world around them slows. In that moment, nothing else matters. The final image of this section. The two of them, standing apart, but looking at each other across a grand room. No faces are shown, only silhouettes, but the emotion is undeniable. The distance between them is heavy, yet their posture speaks of something unbroken, something eternal. The narrator ends with a single lingering line. Some stories are not meant to fade. Some stories are written to return. Again and again. The screen is black. A single heartbeat echoes, then another. The sound grows louder, faster. Suddenly, a burst of images, quick and sharp. A limo door slams shut. A plane streaks across the night sky. A chandelier shatters into light as the camera swings upward. The music explodes, strings racing, drums pounding. A storm of sound that mirrors the storm of emotion building inside both Edward and Vivian. When the past and present collide, nothing can stay the same. The visuals race forward. Edward, walking away from a boardroom, his suit jacket flying open as he pushes through the doors. Vivian on a balcony in the rain, arms wrapped around herself, tears mixing with raindrops. Paparazzi lights flashing like lightning as cameras scream for her attention. Edward pushing through the crowd, his silhouette breaking through chaos. Then silence. A single image appears. A grand opera stage, curtains heavy with velvet begin to rise. The golden light floods the theater. Edward stands at the edge of the stage, his head lowered. Across the empty seats, Vivian enters from the other side. Their movements are slow, deliberate. As if time itself is bending for this moment, the narrator's voice is steady, filled with power. This is not the same fairy tale you once knew. This is the fight for love, the second chance, the story they never expected to write. The music shifts again, building toward its final peak. Montage begins, faster and faster. Images cutting like thunder, Vivian turning away, then stopping, unable to walk farther. Edward reaching out his hand, trembling with hope. Vivian's laughter breaking through tears, echoing like the first time he heard it. A crowd cheering at a fashion show, flashes of Vivian's red dress glowing against darkness. Edward dropping his phone, sprinting through an airport chasing what matters most. Vivian opening a note, her breath catching, just 2 words written inside, "Come back." The music swells to its highest point. The screen fills with their silhouettes meeting in the rain. Their hands touch, not just against glass, not from a distance, but for real. Fingers intertwine, a spark, a storm, silence that speaks louder than words. The narrator's voice rises raw and final, because some love stories never end. They only wait for their time to begin again. The screen cuts to black. Golden letters appear slowly, glowing as if written by light itself. Pretty Woman 2, 2025. A new chapter in a timeless love story, the final beat. The music falls silent. In a deep, cinematic whisper, closes the trailer. Gere, Roberts, back together. The screen fades out completely.